to do? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. What I will say is watch him out, because he's pretty spicy usually. So let's see what we're going to get out of this Godsent side. They will be starting on the CT side. And here comes the action. Oh, we're watching a knife round. All right. Heck yeah. Little knife round caster. Little knife round caster. Little knife round casting here.
All right, and here we go. CT-sided start for Godsent, the favorite here on Mirage after their win on the knife round. About 10 seconds before we get rolling into the pistol, and the buys coming out. A little bit of armor invested on the CT side as Lotto, he'll be the one buying into the smoke kit. RBG, they have a fair bit of utility as well. 2 smokes, couple flashes to work with. Looks like they're just going to hit this straight on over towards the A site.
Out the palace, they will come. Godsent playing a little bit of a retake setup, but it's not the traditional one-man a ticket, right? It's 2 towards the steps, and they've got the lineup at the palace play. Okay, so maybe a bit of a read here from Lotto. Will connect on a kill, and so much damage being done on the edge of these smokes as they try and move in towards the plant. Plant will be confirmed for sure, and Godsent have been pretty slow to actually respond to this. They still don't have CT presence. And there's a forward bulkhead here. Now having to contend with that, but meanwhile they've lost the players on site, and Phelps is just going to continue to roll on through. Phelps demolishing the competition here, just tap after tap, but Wiz will at least get a little bit of action back the other way.
Wow, what a round from Phelps, especially there. The double hold over towards Pounce was excellent. Phelps in the connector boosted up on top of the box, and then the second player over towards the staircase. Phelps able to open it up with the spam, and then the aggression out towards Fawn just as good in that retake. RBG, they get the bomb down, so the force into this one, it'll be quite respectable. Couple rifles that they're working with make that up to 4. So very winnable for them, but Godsent as well. Not looking too bad in the weapons department is our BG. Slowing this one down a bit, working their mid-control. This is more their normal pacing we'd expect here on Mirage.
4 rifles are going to allow them to exert a lot of control here in towards mid. Barton's again just trying to play the angles, catch a chair player, perhaps going for a bit of a peek, but his bullets won't find home. Jitter is low as a result, though. And here come a couple of quick kills. The poke out the ramp, punished. The player in connector, punished. It was actually the Palace player who went down elsewhere, so not a great turn of events here for RPG. Walco might be able to go around the world and find a gun, but it's going to take him a while to do so, and they don't have infinite clock. So there is a mid-presence, but they've just got nothing else to work with. Seems like this might actually fall back in towards a B play. They're trying to isolate a fight in connector if one is available, but that's not going to be the case. Play into the window here. There's a player waiting. As that smoke fades, it's going to get very dangerous indeed, and now there's them in the spot. They've got the information that there's 2 in con. The bomb's still in apartments, of all things, if I'm not mistaken. Just on the belt of Walco with his Eagle. So they will eventually group up for this hit, but they're going to have no time by the time that happens. Worst possible scenario here is if RBG doesn't get loss bonus.
Yeah, they absolutely need it in this one. Taco wants to ensure that. Drop down. MP9 wins that fight every day of the week. The bomb is at his feet. 20 seconds left. This point, they have to go for something, and Taco trying to deny that. The USP is aided by Barton from range, and Hext, 1 versus 4. This round has completely slipped away. He's just going to want to hold on to his AK-47.
Never a good sign when you have to save in the second round of the T side. To my eyes, it was just a little disjointed there for RBG, right? They take that mid-control, they have that mid-control, and then they... Usually when you have that mid-control, maybe your first point of contact comes from Con, but when the player came out, Palace, the connector player, they were just lurking up 1. They both get collected pretty much simultaneously, so the contact doesn't really work there. It wasn't dynamic from RBG, I guess is what I'm saying. They were kind of milling about, spending a little bit too long, sitting at angles. Just didn't quite look the part. The utility was admittedly limited, so maybe you couldn't go for the wall of smokes on A or something of that nature, but certainly wasn't the ticket there.
Yeah, and then a late round, right? Just trying to send that with the D. Yeah, you're low on time, but that puts your teammates completely unwinnable position. At that point, when there was 2 left, maybe you save both guns. I guess the AK, it's something. It's good for Hex, but the rest of his team only has pistol in this round. Dumao, good for a fight out toward mid, and well, Wiz, he'll concede that one. Glock, not normally able to come out on top of that duel, as the B site still appears to be where they're hedging their bets for this late round.
Taco will be ready to receive them. He's playing the anchor spot for the moment. Again, keep an eye on the rolls here. Get a picture for the future. Taco collects. He's got support as well from Barton. Can't stay on too long, but Barton's so good with this rifle. Is just raining down the bullets, setting up Dumao for the finishing blow. Good hold here. Despite the casualty of Taco, it just really doesn't matter too much. In Godsent, they cruise through the first three. Now the investment will come back for RBG, but looking back at that round where Hex was forced to save the rifle, now he's got weird money. It's probably going to be a MAC 10 for the man.
Yeah, staggered off from your team. That's never what you like to see. And, well, he found himself something. It was never going to be enough impact. And this earlier in the game, yes, damage is good, but Godsent have a pretty respectable economy. Barton built up to $5,000 in the bank account. Everyone else looking good as well, as it's a play for mid-control, but it's an early trade. Shot for Phelps. Dumao still here with the op. Angled trained. He knows that no one's pushing up towards mid. Instead, it's just Walco holding around at the chair as the remainder of the players for RBG work their way over towards this A site. Contacting for the moment is Walco. Now snuck up towards mid.
All right, on comes the move. Lato forward. Won't be able to finish off the blows, but oh, Phelps was tight into the angle. They didn't expect to find two. That's a big blunder here for RBG, so advantage given back over. And this connected player is going to have the AWP of Dumao to contend with. Dumao playing that AWPing role here for the team. Come around, that shot missed. The jiggle's effective, allows a player to slip in towards the jungle, so a bit more of a dangerous position. Many more options available to Walco, and he is a player who can stand tall for this team when they really do need it. Dumao aware of the possibility, but too many angles to check, too much responsibility to have. The fact that they've still got the bomb in the sights of Phelps helps even this out. The line and the flashbang is good to force the turn away. Just enough time for Wiz to recover. 30 seconds. If he actually full sprinted towards B, I think he could still make it, but no. They're going to commit in to the enemy that they know. A smoke to cover an angle. Guys off one. Molly is to force Dumao out of position. Do they spread? They do indeed. Walco, huge kill. There's the op. It's close at hand. 16 seconds. Dumao just trying to spray to clear that off. It's going to have to be the battle op to do so. Dumao so quick with the scope. Oh, will deny the clutch from RBG.
You don't even see it connecting, a lightning bolt striking through the server as Godsent keeping things flawless. And, I mean, Dumao, did he even fully get scoped in? I don't know how that shot connects. I mean, this guy's playing a different game than the rest of us. You hyped him up for good reason. Dumao off his rockers. RBG forced down onto the pistols here. A new line for the Opera this time out towards mid. He'll be rewarded. Quick flick onto Wiz, and this round already off in the right direction. Jitter will try and run through, try and play for that Hail Mary, but Barton to deny it. And, I mean, so aggressive. You're absolutely right. Double flashes to try and push forward. He knows that there's an opponent just close in, and he'll find his food. The anti-eco goes swimmingly. Not a single bullet connecting for RBG.
Whoa, punishing there. I mean, look, the initial up picks are one thing, but then Barton goes flying off the top rope to clear underpass. A madman here. So aggressive into that angle, just getting wild and spicy with it, trying to remove any possibility even that RBG would consider doing damage back. So, now another investment coming through. Guns out. Wiz will have the AWP to duel off with Taco. Okay, Taco's got the fast cat angle, so he'll come around. We have said they like to move the op around. Apparently within one map, they do as well. Largely a spawn factor, I think, but it does mean that Dumao will not have the opportunity to bring it back into this round. No, he did. Okay, they shifted him around. He was the ticket player. Now he's holding B. They're a carousel of positioning. Yeah. Godsent are, and it does make them so tough to read.
Yeah, imagine being RBG right now. You're sitting in the server if you're Walco. You're trying to figure out what your opponent's game plan is, and you've got nothing. Oh, Taco's opping. Not Taco anymore. Very same round switches to Dumao. It's incredibly difficult to figure out this Godsent squad. I mean, we're figuring it out with them, and we have the aid of X-Ray. We know all, see all, but it's a slow one again for RBG. They need to find a frag somewhere, and Phelps, he might give him an opportunity, but he's just not going to lose that. Wiz is caught with the utility in his hand, and 3 players left. They're going to just try and execute something out towards A.
That was a bold calculation from Wiz, just praying that no one would peek him, no smoke up, no Molotov, no nothing to clear it, no information. Jitter, a shot back, will punish that window presence, but they've got no inroads towards the site. The bomb is locked in the ramp room, and Chop, he's going to have to do a lot himself. Jitter will be able to provide some contact, but it's tied up, and that's the op pushed off. Now they know another smoke in his face. Chop just praying here, and an op shot back will deny him the answer to his pleas. Nothing doing here for RBG once again. We didn't know what to expect of Godsent's Mirage, but so far I am impressed. Because you'll note, right, so that initial pick, that initial fast cap from Taco, he goes up, he gets the one op shot, immediately starts sprinting to deliver the op back to Dumao. Dumao, as soon as they trade positions, right, Taco is their B anchor, Dumao goes running back around to resume his usual spot. So it's a little bit of a whirlwind chase there.
And that's clearly preset too. Like that's something that they've practiced. They've probably done that in scrims before. It's not like they're pugging this. It's not like they're new to it. The 2 months of practice went into something good. We're already seeing some of that, and looks like we probably had a bit of a pause or something. As you know, we get to take a little peek at our friend the chicken.
It's a nice chicken. I really do like that graphic. I've got a hoodie with it on it now. Yeah. Very happy about that.
Does your shirt have one too?
This shirt, no.
Chickenless.
I don't believe so.
Depressing.
I think it's chickenless. Yeah, really an oversight here on the shirt design. But otherwise, it's a pretty good shirt. Rather pleased with it. Got a mouse pad now too.
Yeah.
Got all sorts of shiny new Frag brand merch. The brand refresh coming in. So just gonna fully deck my wardrobe out in it.
Yeah.
Tattoo Frag on my forehead. Really committed.
Do you think they pay you to just get it, just to be permanently branded?
Do I think Steve would pay to have my forehead tattooed with Frag? Yeah, I would. I do think so.
Seems like something he would do.
He has donated to the Mustache Masters before to put me over the line of shaving my head. So I'm sure if forehead tattooing was on the line, I think he'd be pretty interested.
Especially for charity.
With the word Frag.
Yeah, for Frag, get that branding going. Who knows? Maybe he'll invest into it. But talk of investment, RBG.
Oh. To be clear, forehead real estate.
I mean, if anyone in chat, everyone has their price. So just his DMs are open.
That's true. Hit me with the millions. We're going to need a lot of zeros here, and there's a lot of zeros on the scoreboard for RBG. Really just a big one. Howell from the position below balcony. Lotto, how does he find two? They knew he was there. They committed utility to it, and he still demolishes them. Massive round for Lotto. He's a player who's usually quieter on the scoreboard. He's usually a little bit less of a dynamic name. He's not really the one you look to, but that was such a tremendous round, just locking it down, zeroing in the kill. Obviously, some major missed shots there from RBG, but full credit to Lotto.
And that was off the tack. That was where RBG was slowing it down, trying to take their pause. The strat that they thought up was fast A. Nothing works for it. Now they're back onto the deco. They've been good with the Deagles throughout that frag event. They were getting away with some little bit of tomfoolery on the lesser weapons, but Godsent right now is looking locked in, not giving these rounds away for free as Phelps just holding out towards Khan, maybe setting himself up to fight mid if someone does decide to push up from the underpass. And right now RBG considering, but nothing committed just yet.
The all-seeing eye in the pyramid of Godsent appears to be able to see most of what RBG is trying to do in terms of strats. This is going to be relatively straightforward. There's heavy presence on A. Eagles need to rip a couple. Lotto dancing around default, going to be able to do the damage. Chop does get an answer, but what can they build? Not much. Certainly Chop can't. Barton back on the scene, and there's just no hesitation here. Barton, such a powerful player for this team, and this round, he'll just gobble up those anti-ecos, put them in the bank, and take his team through. Dumas only died once. That's a fun fact.
Yeah, that is a little fun fact. Not so fun if you're RBG. But what's crazy about Godsent is any roster where you look at it and you don't immediately think Barton is the star, when you have names like Dumao in there as well. I mean, there's just so much raw talent in this that you add the experience of Taco. Yes, calling, maybe a little bit of a newer role for him, but he's easing into it quite well. The extra time off sure helped with that fact, but we'll see if they can keep this flawless little streak going. Phelps this time boosted up in towards the ladder room, and Dumao, this is a very aggressive line for Palace. Chop, maybe wary that something could be up. We'll just fall away.
I will say I've always been a fan of Barton since his early days in Team 1 coming here in North America.
Yeah.
Made his way into this roster. I think he's got one of the best Deagles in North America at the moment. He's
the
pretty nuts.
Chef's kiss.
It'd be like, in my short list, would be Malbs, him. Yeah.
South America and Brazil is just full of the demons, the
man,
Deagle demons
the Brazilian
themselves.
Deags are terrifying. Phelps has a pretty nutty Deag, as I recall, as well. So, definitely not a team you want to deal with on an eco. Always a threat. But so many of those BR squads bring the crazy hand cannon prowess. It's going to be a B execute. It's going to be a full-on exec. There's one player to throw a bit of a fake, but this is what we're going to see. 5 players coming through, and Godsent are set up decently for it. They've got presence in the ladder room. They've got a player out catwalk, and they've got one just now pulling back in the market. So the utility will start to bisect this approach. Hex does get an opener, but they need more, and they're not quite going to have it. Borton holds the line. Actually, decent damage done on this hit, but that Molotov bought him exactly the space that he needed to make this work. Oh, and the reposition.
Oh, they don't know.
So good. They're not ready for it. They're not expecting him at all. He's just going to continue to abuse them. Trade back, but Wiz now in a 1v2. Their best opportunity in a long time, and it only has 15 seconds to spare. He's got to go. He has to plant. He has to punch in the numbers. There's no more chance for this fight. And scoping in here, focusing on this
5 seconds.
Fight. He's lost it. He's lost the time. Now
No
they're
time.
forward. He's already out of play. Mercifully, they'll kill him before that timer runs out, but RBG stumble once again. That round, it's the closest they've gotten.
And that's saying something, because Barton was able to find a double entry on into the site. He takes a third off the reposition. I mean, it just looked too slow from RBG. They're struggling to adapt a hit like that. You have to press the send button. There was no time back. We saw this at Frag. RBG, sometimes the clock is ran too far down. Sometimes that loses them rounds, and that's exactly what happened there. Wiz, he had a good go at it, good attempt, but there was just no options. He was placed into an unwinnable situation, and well, now RBG, they'll have to show us maybe their Deags are just as good as the Brazilians to try and maybe get around before their opponent earns 10.
So this round shouldn't be interesting. We'll come back to it if it is. But here's the questions.
Sure.
All right, favorite pistol. It has to be in this game, not the other one you work in.
Dualies.
Dualies? Okay.
For the content.
Dualies fan? Okay. 5.7 or CZ?
5.7 for sure.
Tech 9 or CZ? Tech 9? Okay.
Tech 9. Old CZ? Yeah, love it.
Well, I mean, then you could say old Tech 9 as well. They've all been nerfed.
Yeah, Tech, I mean, it just holds a special place in my heart. Like 2016, abusing the Tech. CZ, I felt dirty when I used the, like, broken CZ, right? You don't feel good about yourself when you get a clip. But Tech 9, old Tech 9, you run and gun still takes, you know, aim head level, spam the left mouse button.
Math. You were, what, like 12 when the CZ got nerfed?
Yeah.
Youth.
CS was, like, my first tac shooter game, so.
There we go.
My first non-Call of Duty.
Train them up right. Learn them good. Double op's going to be out here for Godsent. Why not? Your money is
Wait, can
limitless.
I change my answer?
Can you change your answer?
All right, revolver.
Best pistol? All right. Get out of here. I'm unplugging your microphone.
No.
High noon. High noon. The worst thing ever about when you get one of those random skins from from playing a game.
I have a Crimson Web on my
RA skin.
I have a beautiful one.
RA?
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah. That's when you pray Valve will actually bring it back
Wait
around.
a minute.
Jitter. Okay, here we go. A third entry as well. This is working out now for RBG. They might finally be able to crack the board in what has been a hopeless affair. It's all working. Completely blanked out of the round are Godsent. And finally, at least, Lata will be able to do a bit of damage. But his new mission is just that, damage. The 1v5 would be a miracle for sure. But if he can continue to find some kills to limit them from bringing everything into the next round, he can maybe set Godsent up for the immediate response. That's not really going to happen here. It will be RBG finally getting on the board.
Part of me could see it happening. No.
See the comeback happening?
I could see it. I could see it. It's possible. You win this one. 5 on the road. 10-5 curse.
Jump on that train.
10-5 curse. Come back. Have some faith in them. RBG are resilient. They're an experienced team together. They're mental.
Sure.
Pretty solid.
Sure.
Sometimes.
I think I need to see a little bit more.
All right.
I appreciate your eagerness to hop on the comeback train, but I think I need to see a little
Oh, he's going to get damage here. Oh, no. That's terrible. Okay.
Why is your knife out? Why
Thank
is your
God
knife out, Chop?
I don't know.
Did we have a crash?
I
That
don't
genuinely
know.
might have been a game crash. Let's see. Is he disconnected or was he just
No,
like,
he's here.
he's just zoning out, was drinking some water? Hands off the keyboard. He's eating some Doritos, furiously trying to wipe them so he doesn't get the dust on his mouse. And then,
what are they
What a
doing?
shame.
All right, the train might be departing. I don't know.
That's
one,
what did it for you?
I don't know.
That
That made
one
me
kill? Before you were like, yeah, they're gonna make a
I mean,
comeback.
it was a little
No,
bit
they
of
lost one kill.
copium. I was kind of huffing it a little bit, and that
yeah.
kind of brought me back down to earth, just like Chop was apparently out of this world. But
Okay.
Hex, that is a global shot felt by everyone in the server, but Barton just as good on the reply. He'll take care of Hex, and look at this line getting felt. It's Dumai back on the op, holding a good angle on Taco as
crazy.
well. Yeah,
How does he
the
not get
double
punished
up. I
for
don't
that?
know. He
And he
repeats.
gets the kill.
He repeats and finds the kill.
Walko.
What is going on?
gotta
Wiz
hit
his
those.
flash blinded Walko. Walko falls. Just chaos.
It's a bummer. But Taco stuck around a little bit too long for that smoke to fade. Maybe the timing was a little bit different from their perspective, but it looked like he was out in the open, and Walko had even seen him, but couldn't quite find the shot. Taco immediately punishes. He missed that shot. Well, it's going to come to pass. Still a source of fascination for me that Taco does secondary op, or actually primary ops for this team upon occasion. There's so many capable operators here that they just keep moving it around, depending on their roles, depending on their positioning. He, as the B anchor, does frequently play it, but it's not going to be his op that anchors down the site for now. Instead, they'll have Dumau locking down and zoning out the apartments, and instead, 3 players here towards A will receive the take from RBG. 30 seconds on the clock. They are committed into this. They're coming up the connector, and it's been heard. A lot of footsteps being made. Barton is going to drop the bomb off the first. Now it's so much damage done. That should just about do the round. Jitter will have to pull off a miraculous play, and he doesn't even have vision onto his opponents. That smoke obscuring it. His own team's smoke at that, and it comes back to bite them. 10 seconds. This is over. Jitter could just consider the save, and that's probably what he's going to do. Just tuck into the corner and pray they don't come to check it. This one's going to go right back to Godsent.
That one round feels a lot less good when the reply is immediately there. Jitter, at least he finds one, but still the pockets are so deep for Godsent. That one's not going to be too much of a matter. Going earlier in this run, how? I can't fathom how Taco gets away with that. So what? He's sitting in the smoke. It completely fades well. He smokes up, runs back. Not even 2 seconds later, no one's holding. He runs out, capitalizes off of a team flash from RBG, and gets a frag. That one is unfortunate, but I think my biggest point from that round is the amount of freedom that Dumau has, that he can take over that B anchor position when he needs to, that he can pick it up. When you have a young gun like him with the op, give him that freedom. Allow him the flexibility. It'll work out, and they've been rewarded thus far.
Well, I am actually kind of curious about who's directing that, right? Is that Dumau saying, I want to try and get a pick towards B, or is that
more Taco saying,
I
change that up?
Hold in towards mid, bring your op around, zone that. I am curious to see what kind of a direction that's coming in, what kind of a freedom they have. Because Dumau is, I believe, a
Be interesting to interview
well.
with him, especially since it's been so long since we've heard from the interior. But
don't think we're going to get a chance to chat with him. Certainly not today, but it would be lovely. So, if anyone gets a chance to talk to Taco, that's your question. That's your assignment. Speaking of Taco, a rip one here. Another as well. Looking so good in individual form within this team. It's going to be left to Wiz to try and pull back a 1v2. And this time he's brought it down to the clutch. He's got 10 points of health, and he's got so much room to rumble. He's got the bomb on his belt. He's got 50 seconds with which to work, and he's just going to dip. He's just going to leave. The only thing he doesn't have is health. Only 7 points of that. So the pistol will be more than enough to finish him off, and Lato will have his pick of rifles before he has to rotate through. So a huge opportunity for RBG to finally put a second round on the board, but it all falls to this man. Wiz already with 2. He'll be able to get the plant uncontested. His opponent's still all the way locked out in market, and a lot of room to travel. But for Wiz, it's all going to come down to picking the right angle or buying the right amount of time. He's
talking Firebox. This is a gamble. This is a scary situation. Does Lato read this? He has a nade. Oh, he has a nade. A nade could end this. There goes the nade. There's the round. Round's over. Oh, no. Wiz.
Went for a gamble. Look, I'll try and go through the process here, which is that A, he didn't know how close Lato was, so he doesn't want to take a ton of time to reposition. B, he's the opper. They know he's the opper, so would they think he'd tuck Firebox? It's not a traditional op angle.
Well,
I
they
can
did.
understand the off cut, but yeah, I mean, Lato just is careful, checks it. He says, I have an HE. That'll clear the spot. I know he's low.
That
Boom.
second
There
shot,
he is.
though. That second shot was nutty. Made it look winnable. I mean, Wiz, we said he's hot or cold. If this is a day where he's hot, it could look good, but The scoreline, not hot enough.
He might need to try and heat up into the next matchup,
Yeah,
shall we
yeah.
say.
I mean, it's like we started sub-0, so you need to really get that flame burning.
0 Kelvin.
Yeah.
Just slowly raising it on the scientific scale. Get him a cup of cocoa. Partial to tea myself. What's your favorite hot beverage?
I think tea.
Tea?
The more I've casted, the more I've become a tea aficionado.
It's good. It keeps
Because it
me
also,
intact.
like, if I drink, like, English breakfast, it gets me energy without, like, making me shaky, which coffee does. 2 cups of coffee, and I'm, like, all over the place. So I'm an average tea appreciator, I would say.
Okay.
Either that or hot cocoa during the winter is pretty darn good.
Begin your journey into the tea world. I've discovered a wonderful bulk tea distributor that I patronize, and so I
Just like black tea, or?
mostly greens, mostly
okay.
greens, some black as well. But I like a good gunpowder green, a good jasmine, sachets. There's a lot of delicious tea out there, and there's some delicious bullets for Dumao to eat, as Welko will find the head. Anything to build on here in this half would be great for RBG, and an opening pick does give them a little bit of momentum until it comes back the other way. Jitter trying to lurk in towards an uncleared connector. Well, they'll find this tomb.
That he will. So 4 versus 4 here. Look at the utility belt left. 2 smokes, 1 flash, a molly, and an HE. That's what they have to try and execute and execute over towards the A site. Bit of a sentence there, but Lotso, a bit of a shot. Finds one blinded. Chop with a reply, and Barton to fall away. The AUG is good at range, but those 2 smokes have been placed in the perfect position as we find it. Into a 3 versus 3. Chop taking a bit of a risk as he'll plant open, but that gives more options into the post, can help to compensate for the lack of utility. Still, CT's Godsent. They're starting to push this one forward and spotting out one. Good chunk of information. Taco, oh, nade in hand. Barton bails him out of a bad situation. So a 3 versus 2. Walco has to go for a fight here, but the blind is absolutely stellar. Chop had no opportunity to swing. Now it's just him for the clutch. Top stairs. It's Phelps. It's the retake. It's the round. Godsent to 13. Only 1 for the Panthers.
Very methodical clear from Godsent, but what I will say as well is that felt a bit scared from RBG, right?
Oh, yeah.
No one's peeking to help out their teammates. It's very much each man is in their own position, and then we'll fall back to the next. We'll fall back to the next, and that's just not going to work against this Godsent team. So nicely done on the retake there. Godsent will put themselves up to that 13th round. Last round of the half now. We'll see if RBG can double their scoreline as we head into the halftime break. I'm not optimistic. Reminder, that was another round where they had an advantage and then fumbled it back away. Molotov going to be in here. And it seems like this is going to be a very straightforward A execute.
Yeah, Lotto trying to avoid these flashes, spraying through the smoke. Ooh, they're relenting for a moment. No one connecting just yet. They're straight out. Hex for the entry, that's good, but they have to clear the man in sandwich. They do. Good. Double on the way in. We're looking for that second round for RBG, but still, the retake power is incredibly strong from Godsent, and Dumao, crucially, is still alive. Taco, smoke forward. He can play around that. The flash will blind him. Bit of a blunder from Godsent as the time starts to take down Hex. This time, he's not scared. In close. Wants to take this fight, maintain the advantage, maintain this round. Taco. Around the smoke still. Hex waiting for the clear. The clear would be perfect just now, but Wiz instead to find that frag. Barton with a bit of a reply, and in the 2 versus 4, it's still doable, but the time is so low. You have to go now. You have to pick up this pace. They attempt to Jitter for 1. Hex the second, and RBG, it's something. It is something, but it's not much.
It's not much. It is something. It does double their scoreline. What I will say for RBG is you see from their T side, they've always got a plan coming into a round, right? They're very much a team that likes to go in with a strat, likes to execute that strat.
Yeah.
So when the strat starts well, when they get the kills off the initial run, then we see the dominoes fall. We see the plan that was in their head from the get-go. Where RBG's always struggled is when that first stroke on the whiteboard doesn't work out, you can't go to step 2. What's the audible?
Yeah.
What's the audible? What's the bailout? And Godsent's bullied them in this game so far. So,
yeah.
Pistol strat. What's the strat? It better work.
Yeah, that's the hope for RBG. And the thing is, Godsent is so good in those mid-round situations. They're great at adapting. The calling has been fantastic. The retakes just as stellar. So, dominant scoreline here. RBG must win pistol round, 100%. You need this round if you want even a slim chance to win this game. Dumao towards top mid is Godsent. Pull back for a moment. Where's the bomb sitting in this play? On the back of Taco is He's the only man up towards Palace, and I think his footsteps are heard. He could lose the bomb here if Hex goes for a swing, but he doesn't. Hex comfortable with the information. He'll hold here. He has a lot of value, even if he doesn't find a frag there.
Does seem like this is likely to end B. 3 players in the apartments now does tip their hands somewhat, but it hasn't been spotted just yet. The information deep ramp does allow them to start to float a 4th player over, so RBG nicely set up and prepared for this should this execute come through. And as we tick down towards the 45 mark, it seems like that's going to be the case. Here we go. Here's the hit. Here's the exact. Now they just need to hit their shots and shot. Just for the first. They completely discount the player on the platform. It's an even exchange so far, though. Lapto bringing things back in favor of Godsent. It's going to be Chop and Wiz, though, to shut things down. Dumao, he's a star. We know he can be potent, but with the Glock in hand, what can he do? 2 targets to find their low. Isolates the first. Wiz, not much health, just 25 points. This shot's going to have to be good. They're dancing around the bench, standing off with one another. Positions, no, but only 15 seconds with which to operate. Dumao is eventually going to have to make the first move. Step on out, and on he goes. Just ducked. Trying to go for spam, trying to disguise his footsteps and offset the tempo. Dumao too good. He clears out the angle with a second to spare.
That is just perfect from Dumao. The spam to keep him scared. Wiz has no option to pop up and peek when he's getting spam like that. And then you pull out the burst on the Glock of all things. That's how he closes out the clutch. That's how he wins the round and all but seals the fate of RBG. They're forcing, but it doesn't feel like a good force. It's just a force out of desperation, out of a round that they know they need to try and maybe hold on for another second in this game. Godsent, they're just looking good as ever. A map that we have never seen them play before, and a map that they are making RBG look, excuse me, like fools on. Making.
We look like fools sometimes.
We do.
It happens. Here's the thing about casting is you put such a volume of words out there that occasionally the word just gets jumbled. You know, the sorting factory coming out your brain. It happens. It happens to all of us. Words.
Gunshots, maybe, too. That would be a good one for RBG. Possibly some deagle bullets in the head of a Brazilian.
That'd be nice.
That would work out pretty well for him.
Might just be the last opportunity.
Yeah,
we'll
Walko.
Okay. Nope, not going to happen there. Not going to happen there. This one could be swift. Elf will start to clear on in. Opening pick found. Mid control distinctly lost. A little bit of a gamble here for RBG, stacking the presence over towards B. It does seem like Godsent might trip this trap. Wiz, first realization they have that a little more presence here than they were expecting. Still, even exchanges to this point, this could be dealt with. Do they realize there's another player by the jail? Oh, creeping in. This could be bad. Chop could pull off a massive play, and he'll do so. Denies the plant as well. Now this round is very much in doubt. Chop continuing to do the damage. 20 seconds.
Not again.
It has to happen again. It's the same matchup as the pistol round. Dumao and Wiz 1v1. This time, Wiz is not stuck in towards the bench, but he comes out in the fight, and Dumao will punish. Wiz did not want to allow him the time to plant the bomb, but Dumao, his eagerness in the round will be punished by Dumao. Map point found here for Godsent.
2 rounds. 2 rounds in a row, a 1 versus 2 for Dumao. That has got to cripple any mental that was remaining for RBG. You feel like you have a chance. You feel like maybe there's some opportunity to build back in, and any semblance ripped away from you by one man in back-to-back rounds. They're reinforcing. It's match point. They have to. Godsent, they just want to finish this formality.
Nice kill there for Dumao. Shitter. Trying to force something, trying to make something happen in towards mid, but the reality is they have no mid control to speak of. They've got nothing to really work with. Any pokes back in is going to take a lot of risk. The one thing they do have working for them is Hex, having pushed all the way through ramp on a bit of a flank. Oh, if he continues with this could get spicy, but he's going to settle back in and hope they come back to test him instead. And, well, they won't. They won't. B's been working, so why mix things up? They're going to test B once more, and that means Chop. He already had a good round in the last. He needs to be a hero here. He's an absolute star to make this happen. And, well, a shot to the dome will prevent that from even being a possibility. Further casualties follow. Walko, at least with a bit of an answer, now has a rifle to work with. But but he's blinded up, and the push in towards market will upset this apple cart, will finish things off. Godsent in control from the get-go. They make short work of the competition. Our first 2 matches here in the Blast X Frag qualifier, dominant.
Dominant. And I mean, this one even more so. Godsent, the work that they have put in on the back end is shining through in every way. Dumao